Some games run pretty great on the Steam Deck and some run at 30 or even below 30 FPS, but they still end up being some of the most fun you ever have. I think Are We There Yet is definitely one of these games. Hi everyone, welcome back to SteamFlow. Today we're taking a look at Are We There Yet, a 4-player co-op road trip turned survival physics game. I tested it on the Steam Deck with a couple of friends, and I'll walk you through gameplay mechanics, performance, battery life, controller support, and my verdict about it on the Steam Deck. Without further ado, let's get into this one. So what is Are We There Yet? You and up to 3 friends take control of one RV, navigating rugged backcountry terrain, dealing with wildlife, broken bridges, makeshift repairs, and a lot of chaos. The game leans heavily into silliness, smoking cigarettes for speed boost, chugging beers for strength, and using physics-based winch to extract your RV from trouble. Visually, it's not high fidelity, but the art style and atmosphere fit the goofy tone. If you're playing with friends, you have to be ready to coordinate. There's a lot of actions in this game that require good communication skills, and that's actually what makes it fun. Now let's talk about how it performs on the Steam Deck. I tested it a little bit playing solo, and then I moved on to playing with friends, and I immediately noticed that when you play with friends, the FPS will drop a lot. So I played on the lowest settings. This is on the OLED model, and solo play hovered between 30 to 45 FPS. However, in co-op with 4 players, it dropped to about 30 and sometimes even 20 FPS in some of these moments. There's lots more entities, physics calculations, and network overhead. Talking about network, please keep in mind that this game, surprisingly, is online only. Even if you try to play solo, if you don't have an internet connection, you're not able to create a game. It will launch, but you can't really start playing. Because this game is really built for 4 players, you can expect around 30 FPS most of the time realistically. You can squeeze a little bit more FPS out of it if you lower the resolution scale, but if you go below 50 or 55, the game starts to look really, really ugly. Now, there is another factor contributing to this. There's no FSR XCSS built in. The game does have DLSS, however, I can't test DLSS because currently I have an issue with Decky plugins. So we could previously try to force DLSS into FSR3 or FSR4, tricking it, but I couldn't do it this time, so I was stuck with the base performance. What this means in practice is that yes, the frame rate is not smooth, it's not going to be 60, it's not even going to be 40, but I rarely felt like it ruined the fun. Now, the wobbly physics, the chaos of 4 people messing up together, it works because of that imperfect nature. So if you're a performance purist and you want 60 FPS steadily, this might frustrate you, but if you lean more into fun and co-op antics, it holds up. I was rarely looking at the FPS counter when I played with my friends. In terms of battery life on the OLED Steam Deck, I got around 2 hours and 30 minutes of playtime under these settings and this usage. That's decent considering the game is rendering physics. So I was also the host of this, so 3 other people connected to me. And if you have the older LCD model or you crank settings higher, obviously your battery may drop faster. If you limit to solo play or reduce co-op load, you might extend the battery to about 2 hours and 45 minutes. The game has full controller support, which is great news for Steam Deck users. I tested it and you can play pretty much entirely with the controller, but there's a catch. When you go into the controls menu, you can only adjust keyboard bindings. So controller bindings are locked, they're not adjustable. I did end up switching to keyboard and mouse on several occasions because it felt easier for menu navigation and custom bindings. Now, all that being said, I think it's perfectly fine to play this game with a control. There aren't that many things that you need to press in terms of buttons. The game also has a VoIP feature, and it works pretty well on the Steam Deck. I could hear my friends, they could hear me, and the proximity chat adds a lot to the comedic chaos. I think that's a strong plus that this game has, and I had absolutely no issues with it on the Steam Deck. So the verdict, Are We There Yet on the Steam Deck is not going to impress you with slick 60 FPS performance or ultra polished visuals, but it will give you a ridiculously fun 4-player experience, especially if you go in with friends. So even though it doesn't run great, I wholeheartedly recommend this game. It's cheap and it will give you 5 to 6 hours of fun. That's gonna be it for this one. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more Steam and Steam Deck content. And after you're done with the video, maybe you can check out the Steam group and Steam Curator page where I post performance breakdowns, reviews, best settings, guides on pretty much every game I test on the Steam Deck. Links will be in the description. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.